There's a lot more updates with 2K25. One of the first things though I want to talk about is these releases. So WWE themselves have released like 11 different talents just over the weekend, just actually over the course of Friday Night SmackDown. So we have the likes of the Good Brothers, Sonya Deville, Isla Dawn, recently noted Elektra Lopez has also been released, and there's a bunch of others too. A lot of the questions that usually circulate around the timing of this is, will these superstars still make it into the next video game? The more important thing is actually the well-being of these people, that they get their jobs, that the release is going to be okay, they will go to another company, or they will future endeavor somewhere else and they will be happy. That's the main thing here. It's wrestling and this is a video game. So for the video game audience though, a lot of people do ask, will Sonya Deville, will Cedric Alexander be in 2K25 now that they have been released? Chances are, this is Matt's little guess here, hi, but I would say that they are likely to stay in the video game. It is so close to release. We got the game coming out in a month or less than a month now? This timing's off for me, but it's not far away, weeks away right now. I think it's too late to yank people out of the video game. I think we are likely to see these superstars still in there and be playable. There's only the off chance to me that they want to somehow, some way remove them because of, you know, they could go to another company, they could go to AEW, and they don't want them featured in the game. But none of the releases are of a huge high profile. Like, it's not what we had back in the day where they removed Bray Wyatt from the game, where they removed Adam Cole from the game. I think that it depends on WWE. I gotta be honest, that's just my opinion. I think if WWE doesn't want certain wrestlers that are released, if they don't want them in the game, then they're gonna tell 2K, hey, yank them out, and then they will get them out as quickly as possible or patch them out. But then all of their moves, entrance motions, things like that typically would end up staying in. So do I think you could play as Giovanni Vinci? Probably. Like, I don't see why not. They just won't be talked about. Like, any of the gameplay trailer footage, anything that gets kind of put out there in public for marketing and press, I doubt that they would really want to highlight and showcase anybody that has now been released. So I don't think you'll see from 2K themselves many matches showing off Giovanni Vinci or Cedric Alexander, but I do think that they would end up being in there. So what do you think? Do you think that superstars that have been released, do you think they're going to make it into the game or not? Let me know what you think. The other piece of news that we have is going to be the Ringside Report. Now, Matt was away for a few days. I went and I did some very Canadian things. You know what I did? I went skating on like a giant canal. That's what I did. With my flannel. Like, as very Canadian as you could do it, I did it. It's exactly what you imagined as well. I was skating with a coffee from Tim Hortons on the ice. Yeah, full out Canuck. But let's talk about the submission system, ladder match updates, and more. The first one's going to be chain wrestling. Okay, we know chain wrestling's come back, but they have modified this, and the new Ringside Report breaks it down in a very good way. We've seen this shown off in gameplay clips and all of that. I'm happy chain wrestling's back because I think it will change the flow of matches. The minigame is giving us a lot of different options for what we are allowed and able to do. The chain wrestling minigame has been updated to provide more control. Each player will select the action they want to perform, such as a switch to a new hold, wrench in the current hold, or dive to the ropes. Then, a hotspot minigame determines who will win the hold and perform their selected action. Chain wrestling won't occur in non-standard match types, or in matches involving a new giant archetype. It can also be customized in gameplay settings. So non-standard match types, Hell in a Cell, multi-man matches, anything that's gimmicked up, gauntlet match, maybe gauntlet match. It's a standard match just with run-ins, you never know. But non-standard matches, you won't be able to do chain wrestling. The giant archetype is interesting. That was a new thing that they've implemented here, so that they are going to have giants, and anybody that's going to be like that, like Andre the Giant or Braun Strowman, I assume, they are going to have a bit of armor associated with them for their stamina and their buildup, so that they are going to be a little bit harder to take down, and they also won't do top rope moves. You won't have Andre the Giant doing a giant clothesline off the top rope unless you want him to. You can go and modify his whole move set and all that. We'll talk move sets in just a minute, but I do think that it's a cool thing to be able to have chain wrestling back in there, and the mini game sounds pretty balanced, and you are going to be able to do like a standing switch, get them into the corner, and try and do it in different ways. I also do like, as I mentioned here, the giant archetype. I do like that because I think it adds more realism to it. You won't be able to go up to Andre and try to do a chain wrestling mini game. You should not be able to do collar and elbow tie up with Andre the Giant or Braun Strowman. That I do like because you are changing the way you will approach a match. If I am going to go against a giant, then I am going to have to do different strikes. What if I am more of a luchador? What if I am Penta or I am Rey? I don't even know if Penta's in the game yet, but if he is, I have to change how I'm going to approach attacking somebody like that. So I do think these are going to be great little changes to the game that will make the matches not feel so arcadey. The other thing is going to be the submission system has a new option, has a new alternative. So you can still do button mashing for submissions, but they now have a new mini game in there. And I don't know how I feel about this. So in 2K25, you can now switch things up and use the slider based mini game, which prompts players to use the left and right triggers to move the slide around the circle shown on screen. Your opponent will of course try to move their slider out of the way, while it's still up to you to try and overlap it to either escape if you're on the receiving end, or get them to tap out if you're on offense. We've seen the mini games, submission games, like submission mini games in 2K, like for years, have never been something that's been great. They have always been kind of wonky. I don't know if I love the change up for the submission system. Frankly, the thing that I'm more wanting from the submissions, and I haven't seen it, is the player, the opponent reacting when in a submission hold. I want to put an ankle lock on somebody and they crawl to the ropes, and that I can clearly see it, and that there's a camera animation going and seeing the person climb and grab, and they grab the bottom rope, and it's all chaos in there. That's what I want to see, versus the mini games being switched up a lot. But you know what, it might work out better, and it might just flow better in the match. You might be more likely to use submissions, if that makes sense. The other thing they have talked about in this whole little write-up here is going to be the change to something that I've loved that they are doing. I've wanted it to get revamped forever: ladder matches. And there's a lot more detail in here. We haven't seen ladder matches being shown off other than these screenshots, but ladder matches are a staple within these games and within WWE. And finally, after years, and it feels like a decade, the ladder match mini games are getting changed so that they are going to feel fresh and new. And there's going to be stages to all of this as you try to go through a ladder match to either pull down the belts, or money in the bank. So let's break it down here. In 2K25, we have completely, not me, the 2K. We've completely redesigned the mini game in a way that better captures the tension and drama of a typical ladder match. I hope so, because there's no tension. It's just ding, 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 6 men run around. No one goes for the belt in a ladder match, or they just run for it. I don't like it. This new mini game is broken down into multiple stages, with each stage bringing the player one step closer to victory. As part of the mini game, players are prompted to press a series of buttons before the timer expires. Succeed and move on to the next stage, while failure will send you back to the beginning. And in an all new twist, players can continue playing the game while hanging from the prize. So you start to climb and you got to press the buttons to go with it, and you're on a timer, and then you're going to get that done, and then you're going to move on to the next stage, and then theoretically the third stage, and then you're going to be able to pull it down, and you got more mini game elements in there. I like it. You know what? It should help recreate drama, as they said, and the tension of a real match, of a real ladder match, when they are, 10, 15, 20 minutes deep into a match, and the person should be struggling to get up the ladder and not just bouncing all the way up. You see a little bit of that in ladder matches, but honestly, it's way too arcadey. It has the same old feel to it. So I'm glad that ladder matches, because honestly, look, it's going to impact all types of ladder matches, right? We have our standards, we have our Money in the Banks, we have our TLC. It's going to change all of that, and I like it. They continue to say that to start, there's a new mini game when reaching for the briefcase that will now prompt players to press corresponding buttons before the timer runs out, with all new animations. In addition, players who find themselves hanging from the object above the ring while the ladder has fallen down can still attempt to win the match. This is awesome. So it no longer means that if you are going to try and grab Money in the Bank and someone shakes and pulls the ladder from out under you, that your chance is over, and now you're just waiting for them to just back body drop you down. now you are going to still have the chance to hang and complete the mini game, which I really do like, because then there's going to be moments when you are going to win Money in the Bank, and it's only because you were able to hang on and grab it. That's a really cool element. Lastly, adding to the fun, finishers and signatures can now be activated from the top of the ladder for superstars who have those as part of their move sets from the top rope. So Eddie Guerrero, for example, can do his frog splash. Macho Man can do the big elbow and the double axe handle from the top of the ladder. Really love this. Love that it will be able to assign different superstars different moves if they are going to be doing finishers from the top rope. Want to see things like new animations for RKOs. Well, you do a crossroads from the top, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to see different moves being done, and I love that we're going to get signatures and finishers up there. It's been too much of the same old for way too long. So having this being changed up does give me hope for a little bit more. This is all within the gameplay ringside report. I want to know, have they changed anything when it comes to tables? Are you going to be doing different table finishers, signature moves? Are they going to be able to stack the tables in the corner and do anything different motions, different attacks, those types of things? Setting up the ladder on the outside for the extended ladder where you're going to create the bridge. What have they done there? Have they changed anything with that? So a lot can be done with the weapons, I feel, and hopefully this is a good indication that they will do more. Okay, the other thing that they have done is they have updated the AI settings. Now, I am not somebody who messes with moves all that much. Like custom created superstars, my guy basically just walks around and just slaps people. Like, he's very useless. But for people that love to be able to modify and change up the settings for moves, they have revamped this, and this is pretty interesting. So there's going to be 3 different settings. There's priority, repetition, and timing. Priority settings adjust how likely the AI will be to perform the move in general. When set to preferred, AI will have a higher chance to perform the attack. When set to favorite, AI will try their best to perform the move at least once during the match, performing any setup necessary. The low and very low settings will deprioritize this move. By default, AI tries not to repeat an attack too soon after it was performed. This setting modifies that behavior. For example, you can discourage any repeats at all, or encourage AI to perform the attack multiple times in a row. And lastly, for timing, this allows AI to be particular about the phase of the match in which a move should be performed. Some moves make more sense in the early phase of the match, while other moves are saved until the late phase of a match, when both superstars have been worn down. Really like this because I think it will play into how matches flow. Will they feel, and you could actually tweak it to make the matches feel a little bit more aggressive, move at a faster pace, or they're going to be more balanced, maybe slower at times. But when you combine things together, when you have things like chain wrestling added in there, when you have all of the new moves being added in and tweaked so that the AI is not going to just simply perform the same suplex over and over again, they're not going to be doing the same attacks, doing the same strikes and those moves over and over again. This will hopefully balance the AI better. There's a ton of AI settings in the game in 2K24 that, assuming they're going to be all in there again for the balancing and the sliders for 25. And one of the good things there is being able to have that full range of being able to tweak and modify. Now with this, changing the timing on things, that's definitely going to be able to hopefully make things a little bit better. Now, a few other things that have been updated are paybacks. Now, this just got talked about. A lot of creators out there going through and talking all the news about all the different paybacks you're going to get. So I won't harp on things too much here, but you are going to get a plethora of new paybacks that have been discovered. So there's ref bump, for example. You can send your opponent stumbling towards the referee to take down the bothersome official. There's adrenaline rush. You can fire up with a surge of energy and resist incoming attacks and go on the offense. There's a bloodline run-in. You can summon an ally to ringside to make the fight fair and can be used up to 3 times in a match. The bloodline run-in is probably that payback, I assume, is going to be part of the bloodline rules match. The bloodline rules match we haven't seen shown off yet, only like a little snippet in the teaser trailer, but that one I'm excited to see because they did talk about that, where you can have each opponent can have up to 3 people interfere into the match, and you can call those allies throughout, kind of like cashing in for your allies to come and help you out. Now, I wonder if you can do the bloodline run-in for everybody. Could I go through the entire roster? Like, I assume that I would have Roman Reigns, he would have that as a payback almost by default, but could I go through different people on the roster, assign the bloodline rules payback so that they are going to get more support from their allies more often? I'm a big proponent of wanting to have interference, or the option of interference, in any match I want. For example, could I get Finn Balor? could I have Finn Balor use the Bloodline Rules payback assigned to him regularly so that the rest of Judgment Day comes out and helps him get into the match, interfere into it, and get the win. Now, we did also see a ton of underground matches. What did you guys think of the full underground playthroughs that you've seen? You can throw people off the ledges, you can do strikes, you can do dives. All of it looks pretty good. I am kind of like, I don't know, I get excited about what I see with that, but I'm also like, it's a standard match without ropes, and there's NPCs you can't interact with. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I want to get my hands on with it when the game comes out to see, do I really like this, and will I use this match type? So it all looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll see. There's still things I need to know about. I need more details on my GM, universe mode, my faction. The hell is the island all about? Like, there's a lot that's still not known, and we'll find out very, very soon. But if you guys want to have more fun with Matt, do me a favor, click, you don't have to, but you can click right here and we can talk more 2K25. Have yourself a great day. See ya.